This is The Art of Awesome, episode number 93.
Hit it! That's what I'm talking about.
Wait! Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boys.
Welcome to The Art of Awesome. My name is Nick Troutman, and I'm a professional athlete, entrepreneur, family man, and adventure seeker. My goal is to share with you stories, knowledge, and inspiration as we continue on the journey together, searching for that secret sauce to producing awesome results in everyday life. Thanks for spending some time with me today, and let's get to it. Welcome back, everyone, to The Art of Awesome. I am your host, Nick Troutman, and this is the show where we search for that secret sauce to success and the difference between the average and the awesome. So today is another Friday Fire, and that means we got another thought of the day, tip of the day, idea, something kind of bite-sized that I've been thinking about coming at you guys. But before we dive into the show, I just want to share a word from our sponsors. Personally, I've had my fair share of injuries over the years, and I can honestly say that CBD has been one of my go-tos for any recovery. Whether it be something like a separated AC joint, or tendonitis, or sore muscles, CBD oil has helped me with it all. I've even used it to simply reduce my stress and even sleep better at night. So if you want to give it a try and start feeling better already, then I have something for you. How would you like an additional $50 off the Calm CBD oil that I personally use from Touchstone Essentials? So simply head to www.thegoodinside.com/Art of Awesome and sign up now. Your body will thank you. So, being that it's Friday, let's dive right into our Friday Fire. But yeah, I want to talk about something that we spoke on a little bit in the past, but kind of shed a different light on the topic, and that would be the difference between price and value. So yesterday, as you guys know, probably from listening to some of the episodes, I've been getting more and more into real estate investing, and which I think is just a great vehicle for building wealth. If that's something of your interest, definitely start looking into real estate and hit me up, and I'll share some of the books and just any knowledge that I've got, and maybe some other podcasts to listen to or videos or anything like that. But yesterday I went and did an inspection on a quadplex, a 4-unit apartment that I was looking at buying. And it was a really good deal, or at least that's what I was thinking. I'm like, man, this thing is so cheap. The price to rent ratio is really good, which is essentially what I'm looking for to build cash flow. But I'm thinking, wow, this is going to be such a great deal because the property is so cheap and everything externally looks pretty good from the photos. But there lies the mistake that I made, thinking that because it is a cheap price, it is going to be a great deal. There's a famous quote out there that says, price is what you pay and value is what you get. And I quickly figured that out. Even though I'm aware of that quote and I very much know it, I guess I was reminded of it when we were doing our inspection on the property, being that it was actually a quadplex plus a single family home all in the same property. And we get there and we start the inspection on the single family home, and we realize that that's going to be a tear down, which is something that I had expected. Although what I didn't expect was to tear down the property is going to cost another $15,000 at least, maybe more with lead paint and asbestos mitigation, all that kind of stuff. So there was going to be a big upfront cost to essentially just remove one of the buildings on the property. Then we get into inspecting the actual quadplex itself, and we start seeing termite damage in the foundation. There had been flooding. It was essentially going to need a full gut rehab job. Everything was going to be torn out. It would need all new plumbing, all new electrical, pretty much all new everything. And it was just such an eye-opener and a reminder of price and value. And it was, again, just that awakening of, wow, just because it's cheap doesn't make it a good deal. How many times have we all kind of thought that? Or again, maybe it's just me, maybe I'm the only one out here, but I kind of feel like I'm not, where we have seen something and it has been cheap or what we would consider cheap. Maybe it's on sale. Maybe it's priced less than you would either expect it to be priced, or maybe it would be priced less than what it used to be priced. Just because it's cheaper doesn't make it a good deal and doesn't make it something that you need either. Yeah, it was just that reminder that just because something is essentially quote unquote on sale or quote unquote cheap. I like to use the word cheap sometimes because it's more of a reminder to me. If it's cheap, it might not be something that I want or need. Cheap, I think of as a word that explains something maybe of less quality. And so I try to remind myself that when I see something on quote unquote sale. And this was that perfect example of, I think you're going to be better off walking away from this property and this headache than buying it just because it is quote unquote cheap or on sale. On the flip side of things, I'm actually going to look at another property this morning, and it's one of the most expensive houses in the area. And it's that great reminder that in the exact same scenario, just because it's expensive doesn't make it quality. And just because it's expensive doesn't make it good. I think that's another common misperception that we all have, or again, maybe I'm just speaking from my own perspective, but I probably feel like I'm not, that when something is more expensive, we expect a higher value out of it. I've been very fortunate over the past couple of years, and I've had some incredible opportunities to drive some really expensive cars. I haven't driven a Rolls Royce yet. That's something that I'd like to drive at some point, but I've driven some really pretty expensive cars that are like $500,000 type thing. And it was really an incredible time to go drive these cars, and they're super cool and they go super fast. But personally, would I ever drop that kind of money on a car? No, because that's not the kind of money that I live with, and that's not something that I would invest in. But at the same point, what it really comes down to is like, was the Aston Martin that I drove that was, $500,000 or whatever, was that more reliable than my Honda Element? I don't know. I'm not so sure. Was the Honda Element that I drove for 10 plus years, and I don't even know, maybe I took it to the shop to get like oil changed or something like that. I had a Honda Element when I was super young. I think I got it when I was like 20 or something like that. But anyway, I drove it for 10 years because it lasted that long. And I've still got it. It's parked in my in Emily's grandmother's yard actually. But I guess what I'm trying to say here is just because something is expensive doesn't automatically make it, a great deal either. Doesn't automatically make it more valuable, because like what we say, price is what you pay, value is what you get. And I mean, don't get me wrong, the Aston Martin that I drove was incredibly nice. It had a lot of, fancy bells and whistles. But if you're just trying to look from a car to get point A to point B and not break down on you, maybe that's not the vehicle that you need. And on the flip side, while we're talking about vehicles, before I had my Honda Element, I had a Volkswagen Westfalia. And that thing was super fun because it had, the whole camper and stuff in the back, and Emily and I could travel around. It was kind of like our first RV ever. That thing broke down literally every 2 weeks. I was in the shop so much. That was like the worst sense of, maybe not the worst sense of spending money, but that was definitely a money suck because I spent so much money trying to get that thing fixed up. And eventually the engine blew on it and we had to get rid of it anyway. Oh gosh, just thinking about that was kind of a nightmare. But just remember, the whole point of this whole kind of rant that I'm going off on, and I've been kind of all over the place on it a little bit, is just remember that price doesn't equal value, both in the sense when something's expensive or when something's cheap. So try to figure out what the value is, because price is what you pay, value is what you get. What are you actually getting out of the next thing that you're purchasing? Whether it be a property, whether it be a vehicle, whether it be a coffee, whether it be a sandwich, whatever it is, what are you getting and what are you willing to pay for it? And make sure that they line up, and know that when you're looking for a deal, it's not just about the price, it's about the value that you're getting. Maybe a deal would be spending, $1,000 on a course that's going to give you $10,000 worth of information. Maybe a deal is spending $30 on a book that's going to give you 10 years of experience. Maybe a deal is spending your time listening to a podcast for an hour that's going to give you insight or creative ideas that will help you make money, help you change your lifestyle, help you live a better life into the future. Anyway, so just remember, guys, price is what you pay, value is what you get. That's just another idea I wanted to share with you guys this morning. Thank you so very much for listening. I very much appreciate our time together. And as always, if you guys got any value out of this episode, please share it with someone. Please help us build our community, our collective together. And yeah, share it out with a friend or family. Throw it up on your social media, any of the above. And thank you guys so very much for listening. My name is Nick Troutman, signing off, wishing you all an awesome day. Cheers.